Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Robin and Mark. We're going to be having our latest live AMA, but more importantly, it's also a chance for us to give a monthly update for what's been happening over the course of June. It feels like the months are going very quickly now. I don't know if the guys will agree with me or not, but to be already halfway through the year and to be giving you this update it feels like it's gone very, very quickly for 2022. But we do have a lot to get through today. So we're going to give everyone a chance to come through, to get online and to be able to find us. Hopefully that's all working and all the links are working. If you have any questions at any point, please feel free to use the chat over on YouTube, or alternatively, you can also message in the group chat on our Discord channel. If you don't have the links for those, you can find everything on our website, and you'll find all the links just very, very handily positioned at the bottom in the footer. But you can jump in there as well if you'd like to. Without further ado, we've got today our co-founders, Robin and Mark, who are going to talk us through a little bit of an update and a bit of a rundown of what's been going on over the course of this month. And I think one of the first events that we're going to actually talk about, which I'm kind of excited to hear more about as well, because I haven't had a chance to catch up with Mark yet about this properly, but it's all about what happened in Stockholm recently. One of our igniters, Mats, was involved in an event in Stockholm to try and help really explain what Web3 and data unions in particular can do for different types of businesses. So, Mark, you were involved in that event. Can you give everyone a little bit of a rundown of what happened, how the day went, and what that was like?
Yeah, as you say, first of all, a big thank you to Mats, who pulled that together and connected there to his network, but also used the opportunity of an event that the Dutch-Swedish embassy hosted, or the Dutch embassy in Stockholm in Sweden, around digital innovation. And I think that was a perfect setup to meet people who are interested in the topic, as you say, Web3, but also specifically what are data unions and what they can do. Mats brought together a great, amazing crowd from different backgrounds, investors on the one side, people who are thinking about a data union approach, but also government people that are interested in how to support innovation or how the public can actually benefit from data unions as contributors and have a stronger buy-in there. So in that sense, it was very exciting to provide background, our experiences, as you say, from the last half year, share some great examples from the unions, but also to receive questions that actually people felt like continuing together with Mats and us in further working sessions in Stockholm, exploring specific aspects. As you can imagine, there was a very broad crowd, so diving specifically into some investment challenges or opportunities for data unions. So we're looking forward to engage further with them in specific events or online formats. And of course, everybody who is interested and is invited to join there.
These events are always such a great opportunity as well, because Web3 is still so new. We are very much forging the path forward, as it were. But also, I think that a lot of, or actually, I'll ask you the question rather than making the statement. Do you think that a lot of other industries that are more traditional based at the moment, or more what we'd call the Web2 industries currently, do you find that there's more and more interest there for people to try and get a better understanding for what Web3 and what, in particular, from our point of view, data unions can actually offer them?
Yeah, certainly. And I think the interest comes from different angles. On the one side, you have Web2 companies who are already dealing with data for a longer time. So I think it's not new that data has a potential. A lot of people have initiatives and innovations set up. And they're, of course, always curious to see how they can advance on that or connect with interesting players. I think that is the one angle. I think a lot of corporations or Web2 parts struggle a bit more with the Web3. And that comes, in my view, that there's a bit of a mix still with the classical crypto part, which, let's say, is more about the finances, if you want, the tokens. On the other side, you have the technology, the blockchain. And blockchain, some people embrace it already, and those are specifically interested what they now can do in connecting to data as an asset and understanding building a data economy around it. So that's great to see that there are more and more people stepping over that line, exploring the space, and hence trying to connect to each other, that they can learn from each other, they can see some examples, and I think also the ecosystem matures to provide not just the technology but also practical examples that inspires people. So especially in Stockholm, the example around sensor technology, where a lot of people can relate to when it comes to smart cities. And so there are exciting pieces where more and more people discover what the Web3 actually has to offer.
Absolutely. And I think that is key to this. It's still an educational element here. And we all need to do our part to help make sure that as many people as possible understand. You mentioned it there, Mark, as well. The difference between Web3, what the technology allows us to do through blockchain, whether it's through NFTs, whether it's through tokens. But the most important thing is actually people understanding that that isn't the same thing as a cryptocurrency, and understanding that the potential is there for so much more innovation. Thank you, Mark, for that. And Robin, I think we'll come over to you, because earlier this month we did announce something that's, again, remarkably exciting, and once again something where we are trying very hard to create something brand new. But we announced that we received a grant and we were successful in this with Human Protocol, and that we're going to be building, or starting work on building, a reputation oracle. Now, Robin, for everyone here who's watching this, whether they're watching live or whether they're watching this afterwards, can we talk a little bit first about what a reputation oracle is, or how it could be?
So we are not just building a reputation oracle, but also a recording oracle. So these are two parts of technology. And essentially, Human Protocol allows that different digital job opportunities are getting worked on by people in their protocol. And that means that basically they produce some kind of a result, but this result has to be recorded. So that's the recording oracle. And from our point of view, we're recording already a lot of results, or data points in our data unions. So we support this already with our backend and our solutions. And then on the other hand, the next important step is then to check whether what this contributor has done is also worth the reward that they should get. So that's the task of the reputation oracle. So basically it checks okay, all the conditions. So it in case of for example image annotation, it would be checking whether the result is really good enough. So this could then be checked by an algorithm. This could be checked by a heuristic. This could also be checked by other people. So could be that somebody provides some input and then other people are checking whether that's really good or not. Could be that there are 10 results coming in, and these results are then compared with each other or merged into one resolution. But the end result is basically then that the funds are getting either released or not released to the person providing this piece of work, this job. Yeah, basically we are going to provide this infrastructure to them, and also making a more general framework for other recording or reputation oracles. At the moment, we will start with image data, so that connects to our Planet Computer Vision. But in the future, there will of course be many other different data types, and that's also very interesting for us, to set up a more general framework here together with them, and also other companies that are collaborating with them.
Fantastic. And obviously, this is something that we have just announced last week. But when can people start to see a little bit more about how this would work, and how we'd be able to showcase this for other unions or other potential projects?
So at the moment, we are still in the architecture phase with them. So we are discussing how things will be exactly done. So the whole grant is over half a year. So the final results will be announced later. So yeah. I'm not quite sure how we will go forward with the PR part. So yeah, but as soon as of course there's something more ironed out and things are determined and working, I think then we will be reporting about it. But yeah, so until then we will be working on it hard. So yeah.
Okay, I'll do my best.
When it's finished, you know, then.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll do my best to keep the community updated with as much as possible along the way. Okay, and that brings us really nicely then to something that we can actually show today. And I'm very excited about this as well. We did tell everyone that we were going to give everyone a sneak preview. So Robin, I'm going to ask you to take people through from our back-end system right now, which is working our data portal. And we managed to collect a few bits so that you can show people a couple of user flows that are already built and that are already working. And I'd love you to take everyone through if possible and show them what we've got so far.
Sure, I would love to, yes. So, I mean, the first part is about creating a data bounty. So like, if you require, for example, here in this case, it's about getting new images. But then another option would be that you're asking for images to be annotated. So like explaining what's in the images, or to verify what other people did in images. So like you can already see that there's a connection to what we do with Human Protocol. Basically, this is then an interface here in our data portal where you can start this process. So like here, you're describing your organization. You talk about your name and what your purpose is of your organization. So like here, we did this now with Planet Computer Vision, where we created a data bounty in the past already for our Mantis platform. Here we filled in the details. Can you go to the next step? And so like the second part is about the bounty itself. Here in the example, we see a bounty for Project BB. So this is about the small robot that picks up cigarette butts at the beach. And the idea is here that you now are describing in the bounty description what this is about, or what's the purpose of this. You then define a length of the bounty to run. You're asking for a number of images that you want, which format. And then the next point here is that it's going to be, no, can you go one back? So like the point is that the data that comes in will also be collected in a data set. So like this is where we have this data collected from Bounty 2. So like that's a concept that we have in our data portal, is that you can have specific data in a data set. So like this is then something where basically when users contribute something, it will end up here in this data set. So then you can also manage this, and then you can also say, okay, like these are the labels that I want to have on these images. Can you go to the next step? So then the last part is like where you really give requirements of what the images should look like. So in this case, it's about having the images of the cigarette butts at the beach in a certain distance, so like that it mimics the situation for the robot. And then you add like reference images so that people can see in the app, okay, this is actually what these guys are looking for. So later you can then also extend this. So after you get some more information, that you can basically update the people or what you like and what you don't like. And then the last point is, okay, you have to agree to the terms and conditions, and then you can create a bounty. Okay, so like in the next point, you can then have an overview. So like the next 3 slides are about checking again what you have input, and then the next step after this is basically then checking out and then putting cryptocurrency, the rewards into an escrow. So that's actually something that we're still working on. But then that the users also know, okay, like there's actually something that to gain. But then here we can see basically how it looks like when the data comes in. So like this process now with creating the bounty triggers then in our backend that missions are created in the mobile app. So like everybody who has the mobile app then has the opportunity to go and do the task. And when they start uploading images, then you can see this here as in managing your data bounty. You can then see basically, okay, so this many images are available. You can then accept images and reject images, and basically start filling your bounty. And when it's then full, then the people will get the reward. If you then so there are of course a lot of side conditions what's happened if you never accept something and so on. So like that's then something that we also are figuring out. But in a way, now you are in control. You know, like you can set up new missions for the people. The people get them in their mobile phone. You can basically get the whole world on board to work together with you to create data for your case, and then with this list also use this later then for algorithms. Yeah. Okay. The second part is about creating data sets. So like this is a very important piece in our platform, because the DataUnion has a lot of data. So like if you go to the next slide, so now here I picked one keyword, so the food bounty, but I could now also pick other keywords of all the data that is collected in Planet Computer Vision inside the data set. So like in the end, there can be millions of images or billions of images, however this will go. And then you will probably not want to work with all of the data. So like here you can then start selecting it. You can then look into the data. You can also then start selecting it, basically determining which data you want to actually put into your data set. If you go to the next slide. So like here, you can also select all the 1,330 results that we basically got for this, and then you can then create a data set. So like at the bottom there's like this bar where it says no data set. In the next slide we are looking a bit into the details of the individual images. So like you can also flip through, and here on the right side you can see all the tags that people added to it. So food bounty is only one of them, but if you would here, you can see here like sushi. So for example, if I would have now searched for sushi, I would also have found this image, but basically that's dynamically scalable. And so here, and then you create a new data set. You can either make it secret, so like then other people cannot see it. If it's public, then somebody else could also use your data set collection for their purposes, or could extend it. And then after you create the data set, you can then save the information to it. And here you can manage your own data sets. So like this is then also an overview where other public data sets are then also present. So like you can then also start working with them, extending them or correcting them for your purposes. Basically, that's another benefit here of having then a larger community that can then set up certain data sets. So like, for example, if you would have like scientific data sets, you could also find them here that you directly can start doing experiments with data sets, or you could make benchmarks for certain purposes, and then people can start using the same data sets, or you can make a competition on the data set or something like this. So like that's basically from our point of view, a very important piece of technology to have something here where people can start collaborating around individual parts of data, where they can look for their use cases. If you want to start a prototype, you can start with the data in the DataUnion. You don't have to start first with collecting some data. And then if you later need more data to go into a production environment, you will find some flaws. You then can issue some bounties. You can then fix whatever is necessary. Yeah. Okay, the last part are the algorithms. So like this is something that is really now actually still getting created. So if you show the next slide. So yeah, this is basically an overview. So like this is at the moment the Ocean Marketplace. As there's no computer data yet, our own algorithms are not available. But basically here you can then later see also our algorithms specifically, with then also the option to parameterize and to then use our data sets as parameters and work only on specific data. If you go to the next slide. We are differentiating between 3 different classes of algorithms. So we have training algorithms, which are basically model factories. Then we have the models themselves, which come out of the training algorithms, and they are then getting used by inference algorithms. So like it's a differentiation for the different purposes in machine learning, going a little bit deeper here into the needs of data scientists and machine learning engineers. So yeah, and basically this is then going to be an open system, but is still in the creation. But that's where the culmination then comes to, you know. So like if you create data sets, you can then use them basically in a training algorithm to only train it on the data that you want to. So then this is a very opens up a very large amount of options. In the models, basically, you created then a model with the data you selected, so you can then offer also this model specifically on the marketplace, also via computer data. So then somebody else can create different inference algorithms to use it. So like, again, here we have like large scalability, many different opportunities to go for. But we create the rails here to make this very easy. So like you don't have to have your own GPU cluster. You don't have to store the model somewhere. You don't have to have the website where you offer it. Basically, everything can be listed on this global marketplace, and then people can start buying it, using it, and you will get a share of the value created.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Robin. I think we've covered a huge amount there, so I'm pretty sure that if anyone else is watching this, they're probably going to want to go back a little bit and just sort of rewatch a couple of those slides just to get a bit more insight. But you did mention something which has now brought us really nicely onto one of the questions that our community asked in Discord. And you did mention, obviously, Ocean V4, which has been a big step over the course of the last month. And from one of our Discord members, now that Ocean V4 is out, will Mantis contributors be rewarded for their efforts? And if so, when will this occur?
Yeah, of course. So like from our point of view, I also had a discussion with this person, but the idea is this, of course, we want to pay out the rewards. So like we had data tokens reserved for this. So now they have been basically airdropped to us in Ocean tokens. The question is now for the community, what do you want to have the rewards? And do you want to have Ocean tokens, or do you want to have data tokens of our next data set? So like the people in Discord that answered or like were involved in the discussion, they said, yeah, the next data token would be good, but we will also start a Twitter poll so that everyone can get involved and offer their opinion. Theoretically, we could have the Ocean tokens ready right away, according to the distribution. Of course, like in the current market situation, I don't know if this is the most attractive part, but we want to let the community decide. In the end, it's up to them.
And then the second question that we had was, can somebody help me? So they had some pool shares, which are now locked. And what happened with the crab token and the Ocean tokens from the pool? And again, this refers back to the V4, right?
Yeah, this is about the migration from V3 to V4. So like if they lock their pool shares, or if you lock your pool shares, you got an airdrop on Polygon. So like that's that actually happened already a few days ago, or it must be over a week now. So and then there you have Polygon tokens. Okay, you have then M-Ocean. It's M-Ocean, called like M-Ocean on Polygon. But then you need some gas to either transfer it back, or you can use the marketplace. So there's an option which we also linked on Twitter, that you can do a gasless swap. So like there's a website, we can also put this in the comments here, where you can then basically convert some of the M-Ocean you have into Matic. That's the gas component of Polygon network, and then you can interact with the network there. The transactions are really cheap. So like if you have $1 of this Matic, this can last you for I don't know, 10,000 transactions. So like it's actually pretty handy. And then there's our data sets will also then be on Polygon first, because of all of these advantages. And so like in the end, like the old Ocean pool, old pool that we have is kind of now sunsetted. So like we don't use it anymore. The crab tokens, the Greek crab tokens, are also a thing of the past. So like they are not really useful anymore. And now we're waiting for like, okay, maybe that's then the next question. The last question was about when will our data set come out. So like then that's then basically when computer data will be available. And then you can also stake with us. We will then for sure try to have data sets with a lot of consume volume. So like with options to interact on the marketplace to get results individually to your needs, to have algorithms based on our DataUnion, which will then be something that you can use then the M-Ocean that you have on Polygon for, and also stake to get parts of data farming and also the consume rewards.
And if I'm not mistaken, you and the team are working closely, or talking regularly, I should say, with regards to this computer data and how that's going to work with this V4 update.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm trying to attend the core tech meetings of Ocean Protocol every week, and trying to ask the question. So like yesterday, we got the feedback that a new version was released half an hour before the meeting. So let's see when we get, we always then testing this in our environment to see where we are and whether it's working, and then reporting back if there are any issues. So like for us, this is the most important piece that's missing for us to, you know, like list things and start have all of you guys participate in this new data economy, and us as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that brings us to the end of our update for today. Unless Mark, Robin, you have anything else that you'd like to share with the community that I wasn't aware of before we jumped on this call. No? Okay, fantastic. Just checking, just in case. But thank you so much, everyone. If you have watched this live, or if you are watching this after the fact and you've just jumped on and found it, please don't forget, if you join us on our Discord channel, you can talk to Robin, to Mark, to myself. You can find all of us, including the developers, key partners, people that we're working with. Everyone is together in our community over on Discord. You'll find a link directly on our website. Easiest place to find us, www.dataunion.app. And again, we really do invite you to come have a conversation, challenge what we talked about, have a talk about how this new ecosystem and how a new data economy could look and what we could be working on together. we'd really like to see you there. And I'm sure I say it on behalf of everyone, you're welcome to come along. We want everyone's input to really try and help build this community so that it's something that works for everybody in the future. Guys, thank you so much for your time today. I think that's everything.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.